Digital games have revolutionized the gaming industry, and while many may think that digital downloads seem to be taking over, the allure of physical games remains strong for many. There are just simply so many qualities in physical games that hold a strong and distinct to many people like myself, and that I personally believe will make them irreplaceable. Although both formats of gaming offers captivating experiences, I want to talk to you guys about why I believe physical games are better than digital games. I'll be trying to go over all the pros and cons of each that I have found and thought about. So with that being said, sit back, relax, and watch as we dive into the popular conflict of why physical games are better than digital games. A very popular topic of discussion that I've been seeing popping up in the gaming scene is that when you buy a digital game, do you even really own it? Well, no. In a legal sense, you don't own the digital game in the same way that you would own a physical copy of a game. When you buy a digital game, what you own is the license to access and play that game. This means that you have the right to use the game according to the terms set by the distributor or the platform provider. That distributor, company, or platform can take your digital games away from you whenever they want, at least within their own terms and service they can. Oh yeah, the terms and services. The little box you check off when you buy a game or boot a game up for the first time. When you check off that box, you obviously agree to their terms and services. But what are you actually agreeing to? Well, in most cases, you're agreeing to the fact that they can revoke your license to play this game for breaking their terms of service. Additional ways that companies can revoke your license or take away your digital games is if their platform, company, or simply just support for the game shuts down or stops. You can lose access to that game. For example, the people who bought The Crew, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time Reshelled, or Marvel vs. Capcom Origins can no longer officially access their own titles and were not issued any type of refund. Other reasons why companies can revoke your license to play include DRM restrictions, where some games require online authentication or activation through DRM, and if the servers are shut down or if there's issues with authentication, players may be unable to access their game. Some popular games that currently use DRM and could shut down one day are Assassin's Creed series, the Far Cry series, Sims 4, and many others. And lastly, companies can simply just ban your account for whatever reason, and within an account ban, you can lose access to all digital content associated with that account. However, with physical games, we can always pop our games into any console or system, and we don't have to worry about this issue. At least, not for the most part. The only thing we really have to worry about is online features of our physical games shutting down and losing access to those. Aside from that, all other content is still accessible. Some digital game elitists might bring up the point of, yeah, well, your physical games can get damaged to the point where they're no longer playable. And while that is a fair point to make, first off, take care of your games. Don't leave them out in the open, put them back into the cases or the boxes. Second off, I understand that some people have kids or pets that can get into their games and destroy them. But if that's the case, store them in a safe place or a secure location that they can't get to. And third off, with older cartridges like Nintendo 64 games, sure, the motherboards on them can erode over time, making them unplayable, but that takes a very long time for that to happen naturally. And don't store them in humid places where water or other liquids can get to them. But most importantly, if you're really that worried about your games getting damaged over time, you can always legally create a dump or a copy of your own game to digitally store it forever. Many people do this with Pokemon games and their saves, because the batteries on those games die very, very easily, and sometimes your save data can get lost. However, if you preserve your games, you should never have or encounter these issues. You want to know what really sucks about buying digital games? You don't even get a discount for buying them digitally. When it comes to physical games, there are many costs associated with manufacturing, packaging, and distribution. With digital games, there's none of that extra cost. The game just gets downloaded straight onto your system. In my opinion, I think if we buy a digital game and cut the cost of manufacturing, packaging, and distribution, we should get some type of discount. Hell, even $5 would make a huge difference. Digital games often come with restrictions that limit the ability to resell or share the games that physical games simply don't have. This contrasts with the freedom experience with reselling physical video games. where players can very easily trade or sell their copies to other people. Everything is super expensive these days, especially new video games. Most games are still retailing for around $60 to $70, with reports or rumors that some games in 2025, like GTA 6, might even retail for over $100. 95% of the time, you're never going to make your money back or even make a profit on selling games. Sure, there are some people that can do it here and there, but for the average Joe Schmo, it's just not happening. Even though you're not getting all of your money back when you sell a game, you can at least get most, if not some of that money back to help pay or fund your next game. A lot of you might even think like, yeah, I can buy a game for $70, but what, when I go sell it back to GameStop, they'll only give me $25 store cred for it. Yeah, dipshit, that's why you don't sell your games back to GameStop or any major video game retailer. Sell your games on something like eBay. I remember when the Dead Space remake came out not too long ago. I bought it for $60 on launch day, beat it in a week, and I took my time with this game. I didn't rush through it at all. And I sold it on eBay for $50. Realistically, I spent $10 playing the newest game that week. But that's yet another joy of physical games. If you're okay with waiting a few days, weeks, months, or hell, even a few years to play a game, the price on the secondhand market will drop significantly. I mean, do you really need to play games on day one? I know for myself there's only a few games that I really want to play on day one. Hell, Stellar Blade came out a few months ago, and I've still yet to buy it. That game retailed for $70, and right now on eBay I can get a barely used copy for $50. If you're a video game collector like myself, retro games specifically tend to gain more value than what they once retailed for. Take a look at some of the older Pokemon games, or even GameCube Zelda games. Hell, let's take a look at something that was somewhat recent. The Super Mario 3D All-Stars game that came out in 2020 retailed for $60. And if you bought a copy and kept it sealed, like myself, it's currently worth around $100. That's a $40 profit. But that's why video game collecting is such a volatile market, because you never know what games are going to go up or down in price. But honestly, the best part of all of this is the fact that you own a physical game. Some individuals might not be able to afford games at full or even discounted price, and you have the ability to allow those people to borrow your games, sell your games, or simply just give your old games away to these people. And in doing so, it benefits the gaming community as a whole by giving these gamers a chance to play these games who may have not had a chance otherwise. And that is something that you just simply cannot do with digital games. Another perk of owning a physical copy of a game lies in the presence of the disc itself, often accompanied by a day one or day zero patch. This means you can experience the game in its original state, untouched by updates, performance tweaks, bug fixes, and additional features. But why opt out for this unaltered experience? Don't you prefer to play the games in their most refined form? While the appeal of playing games at its peak performance is undeniable, there's something intriguing about witnessing the evolution through patches and updates. Take the famous Cyberpunk 2077 for existence. From its initial release to its current state, the transformation is remarkable. Although the optimized version is undoubtedly desirable, revisiting the game's earlier incarnation can be a nostalgic and enlightening journey. Certain games, particularly those in the Souls or Souls-like genre, undergo adjustments over time. Some players relish in the challenge presented by the original, unmodified version, opting to confront the tougher bosses and obstacles. Because over time, a lot of these bosses get patched and they become a lot easier than what they once were. Thus, playing the day one patch isn't just about experiencing the game, it's about exploring its history, appreciating its development, and embracing varying levels of difficulty for a uniquely gratifying gameplay experience. Digital games offer an unparalleled convenience. No need to brave traffic or wait for delivery, just a quick download and you're playing the game. Additionally, you don't ever have to worry about the game selling out or the stores not getting any copies. With digital games, you're gaming the second the clock strikes 12 on release day, or even sometimes a bit earlier with early access. However, digital games do take up quite a bit of gigabytes or even terabytes of space, forcing you to juggle storage or invest in larger storage devices. Sure, physical games demand a trip to the store or you have to wait for the delivery, and they take up shelf space, but these minor inconveniences pale in comparison to the joys of physically owning games. Remember midnight releases? They may not be as big as now, but they were still a blast, and it's still fun to stay up all night, go somewhere, and see and hang out with a bunch of other people who are also excited for whatever game's coming out that night. Plus, displaying your collection sparks conversations and nostalgia when friends visit. And let's be real, inserting a disc really isn't that hard. Overall, the convenience of digital games simply does not outweigh the benefits of owning physical games. But let me know what you guys think down below. Is there anything I happen to miss? Are you a physical owner or a digital owner? And why? Additionally, let me know if you guys like these types of videos, as I've been trying to branch out to do different types of videos. If you happen to like the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Well, with all that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day today.